Well, welcome everyone for a night of football as the Miners are going to be hosting the Western Panthers from Rocheville, Indiana. The Panthers come in with a 2-3 record. Linton coming in at 4-1. Kevin Rader, Big D, Dan Phillips, Heather Rader, and also Braden Crines all joining us. We're all back with our original crew this week, and certainly glad for that. But Big D, there's just so much about Western that we really don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I had to do some research. I had a little bit of knowledge about them because my cousin is from Kokomo, so I knew Western was up in Howard County. You got 5 schools in Howard County, so Western, as it implies, consists of a lot of small towns. They're not really from Kokomo; they're from Rocheville.
Consolidated.
It used to be nicknamed the Cossacks of all things. But there's 3 schools, all small. Rocheville is 1,700 people, so really, it's kind of a farm kind of area, kind of a rural area. But there is 800 plus kids in the school district, so there are a 4A squad.
Oh, they are 4A.
Yes.
I was just going to ask you that. So
yeah, 4A, and they play. You mentioned 2 and 3, but I mean they play Tri-West, they play Western Boone, they play Hamilton Heights. Those are their 3 losses. Those are 3 traditionally very outstanding programs, and so it's hard to judge that. If we go up and play Webo and play Tri-West, we may come back with 2 L's as well. So, and they run old school. For us around here have watched Linton North Knox games. That's the kind of offense they're going to run. Tight. A lot of misdirection, a lot of pulling weight coming at you, and they got a great running back. This McKittrick averages, 178 a game. So
isn't that incredible?
It's going to be him. They average 39 runs a night, so it's going to be that over and over and over again. And if we can't stop it,
Big D, I know you've looked at the tape, so all I have looked at here is this.
Right.
When I look at this, I think wishbone, fullback and 2 running backs.
Yeah,
but they surely they don't run the bone.
No, they have the quarterbacks on a shotgun, and McKittrick, 21, will be to his left or right. But they'll have 2 tight ends, so they're tight.
Right.
And they're going to have,
I noticed that.
In between the tackle and the wide receiver, they're going to have a kind of a halfback, and then right to the tight ends right, they'll have almost a wing back. They call them different word. I think they're called something else on that, but it's all tight. Every once in a while you'll see number 4 and number 21, Berryman and McKittrick. They'll line up side by side.
So it's a power game.
It's power. They've only passed the ball something like 28 times. They're just like us. They really don't pass, and they got a tight end that catches almost everything they've thrown. So I don't want to say they're a one-trick pony, but he's half their offense and half their game. So
we have seen some excellent running backs this year. We really have.
And he's not got the size, and he's just a sophomore, and he didn't play week 1 against Tri-West. So that 7-12 is in 4 games.
I thought the thing about I was just about to mention Monrovia, but the thing that they had that was different is they had 2 excellent running backs.
Belcher.
And so one was fast, one was more of a thumper. And we didn't have to focus on one. If you can stop McKittrick here, maybe you've got a pretty good chance of pulling
and
this
you
down.
got to figure they're going to, knowing that, much like we would do with Paul Oliver, they're going to be keying on him. So, but the thing is, looking at our stats, we do have 400-plus yards from, I can't do his name, went blank on me, number 8. Voigtchild. Why do I forget him? He's a spark plug. And of course, Scott has done really good as well. For them, they do have some guys that can carry the ball. I suspect we're going to see a lot of misdirection and number 4 getting it. And I don't know how you can't look at tape and not think, let's try to get a few passes in there, because that's something we haven't really faced other than the Sullivan game in Booneville. They went right down the field there towards the end and put the ball in the end zone twice. We'd kept them out of the end zone for 3.5 quarters, and then they kind of went down. And I know we were playing loose and had a little bit of a padded lead, but it's just going to be man on man. They don't necessarily look huge. I know I didn't give you the sizes, did I?
No, that's okay. I do have a roster.
I got them right. The starters, though, the didn't look like up front. 190. I'm sorry, 240, 205, 265, 225, 250. So I guess I'm wrong there. They're not.
240, 265.
They're all 6 foot. They're all pretty good size. So, and
of course, depth is something you always look at.
Next thing I was going to say is they've got.
And are they playing both ways, or are they playing one way?
It looks to me like most of them are one way. They got 65 kids to our 50. They got some kids that are playing both way, but nowhere near the number that we have.
All right, those are interesting points as we go into this one now. We have not seen them yet. They have not taken the field to loosen up, although I saw some of their coaches out earlier, and so we know they're here.
Yeah. Darren said they left.
Not seen them.
Darren said he thought that they said they were leaving at 2 o'clock up there, but that's got to be 2, 3 hours, doesn't it? Kokomo?
Yes. Yeah.
You probably tread in Kokomo a few times.
I have, and I have never gone from Kokomo to here, but if you go past, say, Westfield or Carmel and whatever, you're a good another 45 minutes to an hour up to Kokomo.
And the traffic coming around Indianapolis could be rough too
at this time of day. Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see a lot of passing, Kevin. I mean, the Miners have thrown the ball 42 times, and Westerns combined, they've only thrown it 27 times.
I know you had to dart out early last week, and we're glad you had a great show. But the coach did admit they need to work on that passing game.
And the thing about it is, I get frustrated. I promised my mom I was going to try to not be so negative tonight.
Mom, I'll rein him in a little bit.
Yeah. I'm just going to remind myself that they're 15, 16, 17 years old. But the thing is, the plays are there. When we look down and we see, he's open, Voigt shot's going down the sideline, or Scott's open in the end zone, they're there. And I know sometimes he's trying to throw the ball on the run. That's a difficult thing to do. It looks so much easier. We're used to seeing success, and I just think.
And he's a sophomore.
Yeah, he's not.
He's just starting.
So I got to remember those things, but it's there, and you just feel like if we can connect on. We were 1 of 10 last week, Kevin. So I mean that's a part of the game we just don't have at all.
We have hit on some, however, but they, for whatever reason, have been called back.
We've had penalties, and in all fairness to Paul, we've had 3 drops. Two of them were touchdowns that were dropped. So, it's a whole thing. I just don't think they're not used to. It's just not gelling yet. We've got 6-foot receivers. I think Cooper Smith and Hayden Feltner both can catch the ball. And I know the wingbacks can catch the ball. And that screen has worked well with Christian Schonk. So, I think those are things we got to try to dial in before they get to sectional time, because teams know we run the ball, and as we've seen, they're going to stack it. And we haven't talked much about the sectional. Everybody just assumes Linton and Sullivan again, but I'm telling you, there are teams in our sectional that are putting up big numbers against, and we can talk about that at halftime if we have a chance to. But that's a long way away. This is week 6, Kevin. We're already in week 6, and
it's hard to believe.
Your streak once again. Incredible weather, incredible football night at Roy Williams Field.
Well, yeah, here we are in September, and I'm in shorts again.
Me too.
I mean, because we're in the mid-80s right now. And, in fact, I just checked that, thanks to Heather. 86 degrees, winds out of the southwest at 3. It's a perfect night for football, but even in the evening, it's a little hot.
Yeah, you don't expect it to be that way, but, I'll take this over those frigid temperatures. Guys are used to, they've been doing this in July, so for them, this is probably a little bit of a breather down there. I got to wonder what the Western folks will think coming down to a rural community like Linton and the atmosphere that's down there. They got the before game ceremonies going across in the practice field. It's baseball program has that pregame thing they're doing over there, and it's just a great atmosphere.
The cookout.
Yeah,
that's right. The basketball coaches are doing that.
Oh, baseball.
Oh, was it baseball?
I think there's a combined effort between the two of them. When I got here, I heard some noise and kids. I looked over there and saw that.
Heather, I know earlier today when we were out here for a different event, people were coming, putting their chairs out, and that was at noon.
Yeah.
It was. And speaking of that event, Kevin, you and I had the opportunity today, along with Assistant Braden Crines, to go out and be able to be a part of the Bring Change to Mind Mental Health Awareness Walk.
I watched that today.
Today there was elementary students that went prior to lunch. Then they had middle school and high school that came out. And we've put together a little highlight reel of today's activities. Bear with it. It's about 3.5 minutes long. As Western takes the field, we're going to give you a little look into what we experienced today during the Bring Change to Mind Club fundraiser. You're listening to Rader Media Sports, home of the Miners. Welcome back to Rader Media Sports, home of the Miners, and you just took a look at what our day consisted of, as well as what many participated in. I hear from Heather Harris, the club advisor, that they have approximately 20 to 25 students involved in the club, and they're always looking for new members. And they actually are going to be hosting a club fair this coming Thursday, which we will be a part of, and it's a little bit of an insight into being able to see what clubs are offered in the middle school and high school, and it's brought to you by Bring Change to Mind. Big D, we have a special guest with us here in the press box.
Yes, as I came to that JV game a couple weeks ago, I ran into the Ian Fonseca. Remember that 2016 and the 2015. A lot of people argue which was the better team. I won't put you on the spot, Ian, but you were one of the great players I've ever watched play at minor football. Undersized, admittedly, but you became a starting linebacker and an offensive lineman, and were known for the ferociousness you brought to the field. Ian, you graduated. Let's talk about what you've done after graduating. Let's talk about that first, because that's a great story as well.
Oh, after graduating, went straight in the military. Did about 7 years. And we're here now. Traveled all over the world. Just trying to do my own thing.
Well, you brought back to Linton. I was really, really happy to see you're back in the program as a junior high. What are you doing these days in Linton?
Linton, yeah, I'm helping coach junior high. We got a pretty good program going on. Zane Hayden, head coach, Briar Pope, Owen Sparks, along with Willie Wags and Mike Ballard.
Well, you're mentioning a lot of former minor players there.
Absolutely.
So, you're teaching pretty much what the varsity is doing as well?
Yeah, we're just trying to pave the way so it makes it easier for the high school coaches to get a hold of them right after junior high program. So we get guidance from Coach Hawley himself, and we take it and run with it and try to do the best as we can do. Do you
see in these kids yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. It brings back old glory days, and it feels good to be a part of the program again, honestly. Help mentor kids that are troubled, and try to give them a good guidance and mentor them, honestly. Like I said, we have a pretty good group of guys. we need a lot more kids. Hopefully, if people are listening and they got 7th and 8th grade, I feel like our coaching staff will honestly help your kids out. Not just football, but just in life.
That leads me into the next question. I mean, football, a lot of sports, but football is one of those where you really get a brotherhood because you really sweat and grind and you're in the mud and dirt. What kind of things did you get out of football that you would say to a kid who's contemplating, or a parent that's contemplating playing it?
Honestly, it's a second family, honestly. You're there with a bunch of guys that you grow up with, and you make bonds, and then you guys either, suck together, so you're sitting there and have good days, you have bad days, but you always pick each other up and move forward.
Now we have to talk about that state championship game. Of course, Linton was the little train that tried to get up the hill for so many years at the doorstep. 2015, you get there. Going into 2016, what's your mindset?
Coming in 2016?
Yeah.
First off, I feel like 2015 doesn't get a lot of credit. Without them, the guidance and whatnot, like, we learned from them a bunch from my junior year. They set the tone. They're the ones that got over the hump. They should be recognized more than what they should.
I think in the talking side of it, there are a lot of people that say, "Hey,
absolutely.
we faced a tough Pioneer team, but that Lafayette Central team was certainly one of the tougher teams we would have ever faced."
Yeah, Lafayette Central Catholic. I don't know if anybody really knows, but they got Coy Cronk. He's in the next level. He's in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I mean, not taking away from 2016 or 2015, I think it was a group effort. That's why we got back to where we were, and I think we had a chip on our shoulder, honestly.
So what did it feel like when you realized, probably like everyone else, when Tyler came out of the backfield in that huge collision at the goal line, I think all of Linton exhaled. You just heard everybody go, oof, like that. So when did you realize, hey, I'm actually going to be a member of the team that has finally brought the state championship home?
Honestly, I think everybody, I can speak for quite a bit of people, we played the game the way we were supposed to be played, and we didn't look up at the clock until we heard the.
Well, that's a good answer. That's a good answer.
You know what I mean? So I feel like we just finished, and honestly, when the buzzer went off, it was the last tackle next to the goal line. I look up, and the score is what the score was, and then.
There were a lot of tears and a lot of hugs.
A lot of hugs, and it was a great celebration as well, So we definitely got welcome home pretty good.
Yeah, I got to watch that. I got to watch that.
Rally afterwards, so everyone was on their high horse.
Last thing I'll ask you about, just on personal level, what are some of the – I mean, I always have to ask is how much would you give to be able to suit up and go back out there and just have a quarter?
Just have a quarter? I don't know, honestly. I feel like I want to leave my mark to where it was. I don't want to,
One more hit? You don't want one more running back pitch out going outside?
I'd like to give a shout out to the boys that I go and play a rugby football style game down South Vermilion, and we get after it just like old times. But I can't walk or play, or, play with the kids. Can't pick them up after about 3 days. So.
But my favorite story is because you won't talk about them, and maybe I'll enlighten you on it. I don't know how much time we got, Heather. Give me a clue to get about time. But there's a couple things that we've talked about at the Lutheran game where the first play of the game they pitch out to the outstanding running back, and Avery Gentry, who I got to see last week, he goes in low, and I literally flew through the air and made contact, and their coach said, strap them up, boys. We're in for a blankety blank of a football game. And I thought, you had made the fumble recover against Monrovia. I think you might have caused it, or did you get it? It was towards the end.
They actually fumbled the snap, and I actually just jumped on it, and I felt like the longest yard. I don't know if anyone's seen the longest yard.
Oh, yeah.
Where the guy
the old one.
Putting the cigarette butt on someone's arm.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to punch me and eye gouge me, but.
That's what goes on under the pile. People don't realize.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't know, but it's brutal.
Well, Ian, I want to thank you for coming up here. A great opportunity. I hope you stay in Linton, and I hope you continue to coach and be a positive influence on kids. Your daughter tonight also, want to get that in, a mini cheerleader out there.
Yep. She's going to be up in high school shortly, probably.
You blink, and she'll be there.
But I work for Westlake, and
he was a great running back. Good running back too.
Yeah, and they've if you have anything these fixed or you need some timber, get a hold of them.
Put you to work? All right.
Put them to work. All right.
All right, Ian. Thanks a lot for coming up. It's nice to see you, and good luck the rest of the year.
Yep.
Crack that over. I guess, do I get to say it? Yes, you can say it. You're listening to Linton Miner Football, Radio Media Sports, home of the Miners.
Tradition is so important in sports. Linton Sporting Goods has a 20-year tradition of offering Hoosiers the best in sports equipment and apparel. Dad got his letter jacket here, and now it's his son's turn. Mom brings her daughter in for volleyball, basketball, and softball gear. Sports just runs through the family, and so does Linton Sporting Goods. And don't forget, they offer custom screen printing and embroidery, all items, all sports, all the time. Linton Sporting Goods, Highway 54, where the winners shop. Hello again, Kevin Rader here along with Heather Rader, and we're joined by Coach Scott Vanderkolk and Coach Emerald Goff of Shakamak Lakers. And the reason we're here for On the Radar tonight is because we have a big thing coming up with Dig Pink Night, which is September 28th here at Linton, and it's to raise money for breast cancer awareness. And so we wanted to talk because normally you guys are on opposite sides. But in this one time, even though you're playing each other, you're really on the same team. Tell me about that.
Well, with Pink Night, obviously being a conference game and a Greene County rival, it's always, a fight for us on the court. But being Dig Pink Night, we're there to support the fight for breast cancer and the men and women that are fighting every day for that. And I think both teams and coaches understand that, and it makes it more of a special night altogether.
And we should say this year it's being held at Linton, but it rotates, right?
Yes, every season it goes back and forth.
Now it kicks off Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Scott, you tell me, first of all, do either of you, not personally, but know anybody who's suffered?
I think it's safe to say everybody knows somebody, if not breast cancer, but some other form of cancer. It certainly hits everybody, and volleyball's kind of grabbed on to breast cancer awareness and support, and it's good to do it with a friend and counterpart to help out our communities and make sure our kids are aware.
The only requirement, besides paying admission, wear pink.
Exactly.
Is that right? Everybody's wearing pink?
It's helpful. Yep.
Fill the stands with pink, yeah.
Both schools are selling shirts, and I know there's been a big support in the last 8-10 years that I've been around and seen it, and the community really comes together and does a nice job.
So is this kind of important to you guys? Do you feel like it is?
Oh yeah. We're just doing a small portion on our end, to raise money for the awareness of breast cancer. So, it's just so much bigger for those fighting against it, and so bringing that awareness here to Linton or Shakamak and to the community, and raising the funds to donate, I think it's just so much bigger.
Scott, do we want to just urge people to come? I mean, even if you're not a big volleyball fan, if you know someone, come.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to be introduced to the game if you've never been to one, especially with it being a close county school. You're going to know somebody here anyways. Grab a friend and bring them and introduce them to the game and support the cause, and just have a good time too.
Thank you to both of you, and good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
But more importantly, let's pack the gym.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. It's one of those nights in sports where two coaches from two different teams will really be on the same fight.
And tonight we want to make a reminder to all of you who are watching from home and who will watch us on the replay that the mini minor cheerleaders are performing tonight during the quarters. And we've been told that pre-K through age 5 will be performing during the first quarter. Kindergarten and first grade will be during the second quarter. The remainder of the first grade through the second grade will be on the third quarter, and third, fourth, and fifth grade will be performing during the fourth quarter. So be sure to yell loud for your little cheerleader family members. And I know that they've all worked really hard this week during camp. They had a record number of 130 mini minors come out this week.
That's
to
incredible.
That's a lot of
perform.
high shrieking voices is what that is.
So we're very excited to see the excitement of these girls come out this evening and be able to perform. Kevin?
Now, Heather, you ran that about the upcoming volleyball match. What night is that again?
That volleyball match is this Thursday, the 28th. It's
where we wear pink.
Dig Pink Night,
Yep.
where Shakamat comes to Linton. It's an annual tradition where it goes back and forth between the two schools, and the two coaches are incredible friends. Scott actually played for Emerald. So
you
it's
missed
a really
it, but Heather and I sat down with the two coaches, and they talked about the importance of that night related to breast cancer, obviously.
Right.
Bigger than the event.
I know
of
they
playing.
do that quite a bit. You know, that the football had something, I think, in Monrovia where they wore the shirt like that as well.
And we're going to be starting Thursday. If you see us out and about, if you see us at any games, volleyball or football, we are going to be sporting pink Rader Media sports shirts in honor of breast cancer awareness. And as a reminder, starting this Sunday on our Facebook page, we're going to start having some Facebook contests to win some free items that we will be giving out during the month of breast cancer awareness, which is October.
You'll have a new shirt coming with pink one that we can wear for the month, and in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You can hardly find a family anywhere that's not somehow been affected by that, and we stand with you in that month. So, Heather.
We want to encourage all of you that are watching at home to be sure to give us a shout out, share, like our post if you have the opportunity to go on and actually comment on the most recent posts that we have on our Facebook page. You might have the opportunity to have a shout out. We're not going to be able to get to all of them, but we'll try our best to get to as many as we can. And Kevin, we got a really nice email this evening that I want to read. States, we've been watching some of your interviews and for football coverage games and have been greatly enjoying what you're doing for the community and school. We moved to Crawfordsville 2 years ago from Linton, and it means a lot to us to be able to keep up with the school activities. And she mentioned her husband is a graduate of Linton-Stockton School Corporation, taught, coached, and was an administrator for 37 years.
Wow.
And she worked in the special education for 34 years with Green Sullivan Special Education. Their two sons graduated from Linton-Stockton and are proud to have been minors. And they encourage us to keep up the great work. And thank you. And we just want to say that we appreciate that. We make it a kind of an honor and a promise that every single time that we receive a comment on the page or a comment to our inbox or on Instagram that we do respond to everyone within 24 to 48 hours. So we really do appreciate that as well.
Once
a minor, always a minor. You're never a former minor.
I was going to say that. I mean, that's true, and that's the chance to go back and watch the game. But then also, like you say, you're involving so much more. I watched the things you did with the suicide awareness group. It's not what we call it.
Bring change to mind.
And the little girl, one of them that was there, I shouldn't say little girl, she was a high school girl, but I know her mom, and it was just great to see her be such a leader, to come to handle that. And such big, important issues as that, too.
Now, we want to encourage everyone to, we know that tonight's game obviously is important with the game and or halftime and so forth with the band. But we always like to make sure that you stick around for the post-game show with comments from Coach Oliver. And we'll also have Big D's stats as well. And we will be awarding the player of the game this evening for Valdico Insurance as well. So be sure to make sure that when the buzzer goes off and the game is ending, that we can you can actually stick with us and hear the post-game show and hear Coach Oliver's comments.
Yeah, and you also made a point at halftime. We got a special guest coming up at halftime.
We do have a special guest with another coach of in the school system, and so we're excited to be able to showcase him as well this evening. So you're listening to Rader Media Sports, and when we come back, Kevin and Big Dan will have the starting lineups sponsored by Klusner Construction.
It's time to go beyond what you thought possible. With an all-new adventure machine, purpose-built to elevate even the most exciting journeys. The Polaris Expedition is not a vehicle that defines you. You define it. Keep chasing the wild.
Since 1973, Linton Cycle Sales.
Welcome back, and again, as Heather pointed out, we're going to take a look now at the starting lineups brought to you by Klusner Construction of Linton. Whether it's a remodel or new construction, you know it'll be done right the first time, every time, and I can't state how important that is when you choose Klusner Constructions. Tony Klusner and Bart Wade, and they are the people to contact when it comes to home construction. And they're sponsoring the starting lineups. Big D.
Well, the Western Panthers, coached by Alex Stewart. Alex Stewart is in his seventh year at Western, 42-26, won 62% of his games. He had 2 years at Northwestern, so he's familiar with that area. Last time Western was a sectional winner was in 2017, and they lost in the regional that year. So far this year, Western's lost to Tri-West 42-6, and to Western Boone, a tough one, 21-13. They beat Rensselaer Central. A 3A squad is usually pretty tough. Benton Central 62-19 last week, a tough one with a tough 3A Hamilton Heights squad 32-0. They're going to be led at quarterback by sophomore Levi Shoemaker, 6'3", 195. So he's got the size, but he's only thrown the ball 30 times. They completed 11 of those for 183 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He has 20 carries for 72 yards. The main gun back there is another sophomore, 5'10", 190, Matthew McKittrick. 100 carries. That's right at half of the team's total. 712 yards. The math on there means that's 7 yards a carry for the kid, 7 touchdowns. He's also caught 3 balls for 46 yards in the score as well. The other guys in that back system, they're kind of like I mentioned, a very tight formation. Reminds me a lot of the single wing that we ran back when Ethan Brewer was the feature back. They are going to have Deaglin Pleak, a senior, 6'1", 185. Cal Berryman, a sophomore, number 4, 5'9", 185. Ashton Justice, two tight ends. Ashton Justice, a senior, 6'2", 235, and Ian Beatty, 6'3", 175. Berryman has 13 carries for 72 yards. He averages 5 a carry. But none of these guys have carried the ball more than 15 times. So McKittrick is really kind of the whole offense. Beatty, 6 catches for 156 and a touchdown. He's got over about half of the completed passes. Up front, Owen Machino, a sophomore, 6'1", 240. Brock Frazier, although Brock Frazier that I see out there is in street clothes, so it doesn't look like he's going to be out there. That could be big for them, Kevin, a two-way starter. Garrett Hetty, it's junior, 6'2", 265. Matthew Sipe, 6'2", 225. Senior. Cole Armstrong, 6'1", 255 are going to be on the offensive line. Defensively, I guess we do see a lot of the same names. Berryman and Frazier are the inside backer. Frazier was not the leading tackler, 33 tackles. Berryman, number 4, is the leading tackler with 71. Mason Tedder, number 10, and a McKittrick. He's going to go both ways as well. Will be the outside backers. The defensive end is Tate Heston. He's a one-way player, but he's got size at 6'4", 265, along with Justice. Jace Smith is going to be the nose tackle. Another sophomore, 5'10", 225. The backfield, Kyler Norman, Deegan Pleak, Levi Shoemaker, and Ian Beatty. So I guess in answer your question, Kevin, there are quite a few two-way players going for the Panthers. The Miners are led by Paul Oliver, a sophomore, 6'3", 205. He has 88 carries for 531 yards, 9 touchdowns. Also has got 2 catches for 40 yards. And passing is 12 of 38 for just 159. The big number there is 0 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So we know we got to improve there. Fullback is going to be Christian Schock, senior, 5'10", 180. He has 138 yards and 2 touchdowns on the book. Ashton White's been back there as well. He has 20 carries, a good split between those two. The wingbacks, Eli Scott, 287 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Jesse Voice-Scott last week a career-high 183 yards rushing. He now has 446 yards. He averages 8.9 per carry for 2 touchdowns. Up front, Ty Boyd, a senior, 6'2", 210. Hank Jennings, the junior, 6'2", 250. Blaine Kirkman, the center, senior, 5'10", 225. Jimmy Wright, the sophomore right guard, 5'11", 210. Jacob Breedlove, 6'7", 300 at the tackle. Defensively, the Miners are led at nose tackle by Ashton White. I think we called his name 14 times last week. He goes up and down the line, makes the hits. The 2 down linemen with him are Jennings and Ty Boyd. The inside baggers are Key, Christian Schock, and we've been seeing Jimmy Wright and Colton McKinnon in there. Russell Goodman still with a shoulder injury, not going to be playing. They got to keep him out until he heals, and we're hoping to have him long term. I talked to him 2 weeks ago, and he really he hates not playing, but the only thing you can do sometimes is let an injury heal. The defensive backs tonight, Hayden Feltner and Braylon McBride has made 3 or 4 big hits coming in on those wide receiver screens. Cooper Smith and Jesse Voigtschott are the 2 safeties. And there you go.
So, starting lineups are brought to you by Klooster Construction of Linton. As we said, whether it's a remodel or new construction, you know it'll be done right the first time, every time when you choose Tony Klooster Construction and Bart Wade as well. So, why don't we take a break here momentarily, and when we come back,
we're actually going to show you a little bit of what will be happening at the school tomorrow. We are proud to be able to show a little interview that we had with Theron Hibbard of the choir department. And tomorrow, you may notice at the intersection of the main highway there at Wendy's, there's going to be some dancing mattresses out tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you can come to the school and purchase a mattress any size from twin up to king. And the mattress department, the choir department actually, and music will actually benefit from that fundraiser to buy new sheet music, to buy new equipment. So we encourage all of you to take a moment and listen to Theron discuss why this fundraiser is so important for Linton-Stockton.
Hi, I'm Theron Hibbard. I'm the choir president for the 2023-2024 school year. We have a lot of upcoming events that are very important to us and help us raise money for music and help kids pursue music in their future. The fundraiser that I'm talking about is the mattress fundraiser. For every twin bed, we get $50 back. For every full bed, we get $75. For every queen, we get $100, and for every king, we get $25. And for an additional base, we get $100. This money goes into buying new music equipment, and helps with the rest of the choir's expense. The mattress fundraiser is on the 23rd of this month. It is on a Saturday, so don't be alarmed if you see kids in mattress costumes or if you see them on the highway yelling at you. They're just trying to get you to come to the mattress fundraiser.
welcome back now. Aaron Lynn giving the welcoming to the fans. I wanted to talk a little bit to Braden here, because dancing mattresses, are you missing out on that? Are you going to be part of that, or what's?
No, but the choir department is, and I know they were usually really good with their fundraisers, and I know they'll probably get a lot of sales with their mattresses tonight.
I bet you that gets a lot of attention.
It does. Yeah. It definitely. I've heard some stories. It's definitely a sight to see in Linton.
It's not every day that you drive by and see dancing. And normally I would wonder what I'd been doing to see mattresses in the street, but
exactly. Yeah, it's definitely a sight to see. I'll have to go by and see.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, and I'm sure some folks will just drive by because they want to see it. But I just wanted to get Braden's opinion on all this. And Braden, obviously you participated in the events this afternoon too at school. What did you think of all that?
I've attended the Bring Change to Mind walk for these past few years, and it gets better every single year. And I think Heather and the Bring Change to Mind Club are doing a tremendous job hosting that, and I think it's going to get better every single year.
You know, there were a lot of kids out there.
There were. I mean, I have never seen so many students in one place before in my life. I mean, it was a sight, and I'm glad to see all students coming together for a great cause.
And the neat thing, and Heather pointed this out, is you saw a little bit of everything from every segment of the school society.
Yes.
You saw football team, you saw volleyball team, you saw kids involved in choir, you saw kids involved in any myriad of events.
Yeah. I mean, kids involved anywhere in the school. I mean, whether you're playing football, like you said, whether you're playing basketball, whether you're just a regular student that's not involved in anything, everybody comes together for a great cause, and Bring Change to Mind is a perfect place for it.
All right. Thank you very much, young man. Always good to hear from you, and we love having you along. Big D, we see the uniforms here now for Western. The black pants, white jerseys, black numerals, and as you pointed out to me, it is a black helmet with silver numbers on it, but it really illuminates in the sun, and it's deceptive.
Well, we know that sun, what it's gonna bring to us, but they're black helmets with a kind of a looks like a thin one white stripe down the middle, and that big Washington W that you see on the side of the helmet. But as you pointed out, color scheme, it's not gold, but it's very Purdue look to it with the black pants coming down. I'm interested to see who fills in at that linebacker spot. And, let's look into the night. Let's talk about the positives, Kevin. I think one of the big things positive-wise has to be the defense. We have faced some really good running backs, Jones, Belcher, and Kendall, but we're only giving up 109 yards rushing per game. So that's a pretty good thing. The defense held Boonville last week to 0 for 9 on third downs, which is an amazing thing because Boonville started their possessions at our 34, the 24, the 35, and the 12. 4 possessions on our side of the field in the first half and got 0 points out of that. And you got to wonder if any of those times Boonville would have put points on the board, not to mention a punt return that almost got put in. That might have changed the pace of the ball game. So the positives there, definitely for sure. I think White, Jennings, Boyd, and Andrews and Oliver on that up front were very dominant. Shunk keeps getting in the backfield, making big hits. Right now, you're getting used to that linebacker spot. Had our first interception of the year and returned that 31 yards to set up.
Hard to believe that that's the first
is.
interception of the year. But in truth, not a lot of teams are throwing.
We haven't had it. The other positive I want to bring up is Paul Oliver punting. He's been punting over 42 yards a game, and last week he had. Are we back? I don't know where I was. I have to guess. Roll the dice. But the positive, real quick, to summarize, the defense, I think, has been really dominant, and I think the punting has been dominant. The turnovers have kind of hurt us a little bit. We're losing the turnover battle in games. And as much as we gave away last week, we got some back. You were pointing out that it's hard to imagine that it's just one interception, but we really haven't faced a passing squad, and we're not going to tonight.
Yeah. Last week, too, we did notice, and I remember asking in the postgame, and I checked again here tonight, Hank Jennings, it looked like he was but I was told he was actually sick last week, and so that probably played a big part
I think the
in
field
coming in and out of the game.
I think the field must have been a little damp because we saw 3 or 4 guys talking to Eli Scott, who, by the way, I just saw pictures today. Hayden Flath, he wore 21. Eli Scott wears 21. I think that's kind of neat. But he came out with a knee injury, and he said he had gotten twisted in his knee. It got pushed up into his face mask for him. But we saw Reed Love kind of limp a little bit. I noticed tonight in the warm-ups that Hank Jennings wasn't on the offensive line. They had Chris Lyons, a sophomore, in there, so that's something we'll have to watch.
It was a physical ball game.
It was, and I think you're going to have another one tonight. It's a mumbo-jumbo of things. They pull the back guard, the back tackle. They both come around with the lead blockers, and it's just a wall of bodies coming at you, and we got more men there than you got, and that's how North Knox beat us a few years ago, was on that type of offense. The linebackers got to be able to get in there and make the hit, and Christian Shunk is that kind of guy, and I think Jimmy Wright is too.
Let's look a little bit about what Linton gains from this, playing a school that's 4A, Big D.
Well, I think obviously the schedule that we're playing. I mean, we didn't play North Davies, and North Davies is 5-1, and that's great for them. But I think by not playing us, it doesn't test them. They played Edinburgh, which is, and that's a game, and you're building up your self-confidence. And I know that was probably some of the deal, but we're playing Monrovia. We played St. Teresa. Western is obviously their team every year is 6-3, 7-4, so they're a solid program. They play in the Hoosier Conference. They're up there with big schools, and they're used to rough and tumble kind of play, and that's the kind of play we're going to see down the road. So I think it benefits. It doesn't do any good to beat teams 58-0 every week. Once in a while, that's great, but every week you do it, I think as a team you start believing. Believing the papers, believing the write-ups, believing all of the positives, and that you're not tested. All of this is going to help us down the road for sure.
Of course, we're kind of opening up a can of worms, but that's why the football program has decided to go and not be aligned with any particular conference.
That's exactly right. And, when for years, post-game, that was one of the big discussions, the coaching staff. we'd love to crack at playing some of the better teams around the state. And that for the first few years, that was great. We went to Sheridan. We got to play them, Cardinal, Ritter. We got to go out and do it. But what's happening to us, Kevin, is everybody's in a conference now. And the conferences are big. So they got 10, 12 teams. They split into two, and they play everybody in theirs plus the other conference. It leaves very little opportunity for open weeks to play. That's what's happening with Southridge. They're almost being forced into the.
Do you think there's ever a chance that we might join a different conference?
I think we've always been considered in the WIC. I know there's been a couple of different things said there, and there's reasons why on both sides of the coin. But that's got Sullivan, that's got West Vigo, South Putnam. That's got some schools we'd be more aligned with. But that also would include Indian Creek and some of the longer ones. The only other one I can think of around here would be South, and I just don't see us traveling to South Spencer. But I think Darren Clayton could be better. He'd be the guy to talk to about it, because there's pros and cons, but we're starting to now have to pick up games like Phelan Academy, which nothing against Phelan Academy. I'm glad to see, kids getting a chance to play football, but they've been getting, Monrovia beating them 60-something to nothing in the first half. So we know that's week 9, and I don't know that that's going to help us. But it's a game, and you'd rather play than not play. But St. Teresa, for a while, we had this Bishop something from Ohio coming that was a state champ. So if we have to start traveling, we're just a small rural school. It's going to be hard to travel 2 and 3 hours to play.
You are listening to Rader Media Sports, home of the Miners. Tradition is so important in sports. Linton Sporting Goods has a 20-year tradition of offering Hoosiers the best in sports equipment and apparel. Dad got his letter jacket here, and now it's his son's turn. Mom brings her daughter in for volleyball, basketball, and softball gear. Sports